Good day, listeners. Welcome to another edition of the Catalyst podcast, the Tomorrow is Here series, where we discuss narratives, policies of governance under Governor Peter Mbah that is shaping Enugu State. I'm here with no other person, but with a distinguished personality known as Engineer Prince Lawrence Eze. Welcome to the Catalyst podcast. Huh?
Thank you very much, Arinze, for having me today.
Just like always, you're always looking good. I think the last time you came was to discuss about the ETF.
Enugu Tech Festival, yes.
And it was successful.
It was
a success.
Yeah.
So, Honorable Commissioner, as the Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, you have been an integral part of the Governor Peter Mbah led government. How would you describe the journey so far?
Well, for me, the journey so far has been quite amazing. You know, it is one thing to be in a government's cabinet. It is another thing also to understand your essence of being there. I would say that for those who are members of Dr. Peter Mbah's Executive Council, we count ourselves to be very lucky, you know, to have formed a cabinet of a government that has actually brought about true transformation in Enugu State. So, if you ask me how it has been, I would say for me, it has been a very quite exciting one for me as a person, you know, and also to most of my colleagues as well. It's been quite exciting for us because when you tell the stories of these amazing things that are going on in the state today, once you take the governor, who is the head of the cabinet, you know, there's no way you will remove my name from there. Yeah. You get the point. Mm-hmm. So, and also that of the rest of my colleagues. So that is actually one of the most exciting things that, you know, make all of us feel so, being so counted, you know, among the beautiful things that are happening in the states today, you know. So, you know, for those of us that are politicians as well, once you form part of any government's cabinet, the first thing people ask is, what were you able to bring back home at the end of the day? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So today, when I look back, you know, I can see like countless projects, okay, I would say yes, this administration, okay, has brought on board in my own ward. I'm not even talking about my local government as in Kano East, okay, but in my ward, as in Brubu ward now, I can count on a lot of laudable projects that are ongoing right now, those that are already being completed, you know, that we can say for sure, yes, I feel so proud to be part of this administration.
So, as someone that you have worked with for a while now, what do you think makes him special and unique as the governor of Enugu State?
Well, for Dr. Peter Mbah, what makes him very unique and outstanding, I would say, you know, is his ability, you know, to conceptualize what the ordinary minds cannot. You know, sometimes when we're in ESCO and we are having deliberations and he drops something on the table, everybody will be like, wow, like, this is not possible. So let me give you a very little picture. When he came up with the concept of the Enugu Air, all right? So this is for a state that I have been grappling with, you know, the right land transportation. And someone is now dropping on the table air transportation, okay, for the state. And we know quite well that as at the point this was going on, even up to today, we cannot be ranked or categorized at the same, you know, at the same level with Akwa Ibom State, because as a matter of fact, in Akwa Ibom State, prior to our, you know, coming on board, was the only state in Nigeria, okay, that, you know, operates its own aircraft.
Yeah.
Until we came on board. So, knowing that we don't have that kind of huge, you know, resources, we don't command those kind of huge resources like the rich oil and gas state like Akwa Ibom. So to us, it was like, where is this coming from? How possible could this be? So none of us actually believed this was something that, was going to just come through this way. When he dropped it on the table for us, he said, because in his characteristic nature, we just put it, what about if we have Enugu Air? So everybody was just looking at each other. The next thing, all of us just busted into laughter. For us, it was more like he was just trying to, pull, a joke or something. But it was not a joke at the end. So it turned out from a joke into reality. So the next thing, the Commissioner of Transport has been engaged. He has started running, around there were some flyers. They were, being posted on different platforms. And we looked at this and everyone was just laughing. I mean, this could happen, but maybe in some years to come. But voila, today, you can understand where we are. So this is something that makes him quite unique. He doesn't just think like every other governor. With all due respect to other governors, I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but there is something that makes a leader different from a politician. I have always said that, so a very good politician is just preoccupied and concerned with how are we going to win the next election, this coming election. In fact, from the first day he's voted, he's already started strategizing on how he's going to win the next election, not minding and not bothering about how to put, into shape, a better foundation for the generations to come. But a good leader is not preoccupied with elections victory. He's more occupied on how to lay a better foundation for next generation, and that's actually what Dr. Peter Mbah is doing and has done in these few years that I have worked very closely with him. And so the way, let me just ask me a question. So, the way he thinks, the way he talks, especially when you have a very private conversation with him. When you have a private conversation with him, you'll be so amazed that what he says in the public, is not in any other way different from that close conversation he has with you. I would give you a very small, it's 100% consistent. So I'll give you a very little example. So sometime I was having a personal conversation with him, and he now said, Prince, look, do you know why we have to do everything within our fibers to ensure that these smart schools, they come to bear, and that every little child in Enugu State has access to free, quality, and affordable education? I said, no. He said, it is simply because we are now creating a new generation that will take over from us, that will compete with the rest of the global community. That's number one. He said, have you ever sat down to wonder what it will feel like for the son of the poorest man on the street, to be seated next in his class, to the son of the richest man, in the same street? Have you ever sat down to imagine that? This is how Dr. Peter Mbah reasons. Are you getting the point? He's trying to bridge that gap, to bring everybody on, give every young child out there that equal opportunity to sit down and compete. It's no longer that because my parents are so well to do, I can now have education in this particular private institution or missionary institution where their school fees are quite expensive, and this other guy cannot because the parents are not that well to do, so he settles for the Otakara kind of education. No. So he has today, with the emergence of this Enugu State Smart Green School, bridged that gap and have brought everybody. Of course, some parents also have had their children and their wards in the private schools are working very seriously now to retrieve them and bring all of them back into the Enugu Smart School. Why? It's simply because what the Enugu Smart Green School is offering is pretty difficult to be found in some of these private schools where their wards and children are now, because of the kind of sophisticated equipment and the kind of educational platform we're bringing on board. the experiential distance learning. The experiential learning is quite different from what is obtainable in every other part of Nigeria. So it's not, in fact, in every other part of Africa. Because he looked at these things and said, look, we cannot continue with the usual, cannot continue with the conventional, the everyday practice, and we expect the kind of I will use the word crazy change that he wants people to have in this in a part of the world, because he doesn't. When he talks about disruptive, to me, is a very crazy way to think. Something that ordinarily would have been achieved in the next 10, 15 years. Dr. Peter Mbah wants you to achieve it like today. And you can see that with the speed at which the state is moving right now today. So there is no way you can match that with what every other governor is doing. Sometimes they want to try to equate, oh, this governor is doing. I say they are all doing well, this governor is doing, but there is a very sharp contrast, a very deep gulf between what Dr. Peter Mbah represents and what other governors represent. And part of those things I'm telling you is having that humane thought about the young people. There's always been this general saying that, the children are the leaders of tomorrow. We sing about why we were, in our primary school and in all that stuff. So, but today, we are now seeing a leader who is preparing these children that are the leaders of tomorrow to start taking their place strongly from now. Because if you miss it at this point, there is no way, we can catch up later. In the last Enugu State phase, we actually invited some technical colleges and also invited some of the Enugu Smart Schools, to come there and also demonstrate to the world what they've been able to catch up. If you are there, you will be so shocked to see that young people in less than 10 years old are now building drones. They're now building robots, and that can be able to travel from one place or the other to deliver goods and do things. These are things that we are never imagined in this state that can happen. Even if you go across board in other states, you can hardly find any other state where public schools, have children who can do such things. It's only in Enugu.
So, could you briefly unpack some of the laudable things the governor has done in 3 years and how that will affect his chances of winning in 2027? Okay,
so let me start by saying that when it comes to chances, I do not understand who else is sharing the chance with him of coming back. Because what I'm saying is, like you said, based on what he has put on ground. Okay. I may not be able to put down all for you, but I will just give you a very key one that you should take home. Let's put down on this table the issue of security. All right?
Yeah.
Before we came on board, people are so quick to forget the bad days and bad years when all of a sudden the good days just come on board. So when we came on board, we met a state where even the route to the government house, the seat of power, was cordoned off completely, barricaded with medias and heavy concretes and stuffs like that. We met a state where almost on weekly basis, our precious security agents from the military to the police were being gunned down on weekly basis. We're not talking about the ordinary people on the street. So when you have a situation where the security men who are fully armed that are supposed to be protecting the ordinary citizens are being gunned down in their numbers on weekly basis, what then do you think becomes the fate of the ordinary person on the street? Are you getting the point? Yeah. So that was precisely where we took over from. So when we came in, we saw a situation where the markets don't function on Mondays. Why? For the fear of, they will come, or non-government, this and that, or if you just shout, hey, they are coming, the entire street, even on a normal day, everybody will desert it. So we met a state that had already been gripped and grappling with the highest level of fears and anxiety. And the governor just looked at this, because when I attended his manifesto's presentation at Godfrey this University, the day he unpacked his manifesto, I listened to him very keenly, and to a lot of the things he pointed at he was going to do as a governor, which even me, that is working, I never really believed that most of these things that he was unpacking there were things that were real, that he actually meant to unpack. I was just telling myself, well, if we could just do like 1/5 of that, or 1/4 of that, we would have outdone so many other successive governments. All right. So the man looked at this and he now said, oh, I have beautiful programs for the people of Enugu, but these programs cannot work. Not even one would have been implemented in an unsafe environment. So what did the governor do? He now said, okay, let us first of all prepare the enabling environment for the rest of the programs to be unveiled. And what was that? Insecurity. And he went head on to confront the insecurity situation in the state. Of course, this kind of situation that has taken years to build up doesn't just go away that easily. He went on, with all the military, all the other sister security agencies and all that, and gave them everything they needed, including the entire of the state's support to ensure that these were actualized. And between you and me today, you can understand that the nightlife is back in Enugu simply because we are now having a safe environment. And today, it will be pretty difficult for you to have a case of just mere car snatching in the state. He has ensured that the security agencies are not just working for the state, but they are working with the right tools. Okay? Where we now have the rapid response team positioned across every part of the city, just a replica of what you see in other developed nations. I've had friends who came in from outside the country and they visited Enugu, and I took them around who are not even Nigerians, and we went around and they were asking me, sorry, there's something strange about Enugu. I said, what's that? We hardly see roadblocks where policemen are stopping people and barricading the place and collecting tolls from people every now and then. I said, no, it doesn't exist here. They said, are we in Nigeria? I said, we're in Nigeria. I said, but there's something that makes Enugu different. Why you are in Nigeria? Yes, but you are in Enugu. Why are you in Enugu? I said, why are you in Enugu? Because I will take you somewhere. And finally, when I took them to our ultra-modern command and control center, by the time they stood in one place and they were able to catch an elaborate view of the entire stretch of Enugu city. And they were like, oh, Prince, we can now understand why you told us that you are in Nigeria, but please understand that you are in Enugu. Yes. So it's different. It's different. So he took time while the soldiers were doing the combat and working very hard, to surmount and then, and suppress the activities of these men of the underworld. His Excellency was busy very fast laying fiber optics and the cables and everything and all the camera networks across the city. And as you can see today, there is no part of this Enugu city that you say you can walk in and you say we cannot spot you. And to make that about the best thing that we have done, it's not just a camera, they are all AI enabled. And because they are all AI enabled, it processes information. If you are coming into Enugu, your IDs are captured. If you are coming into Enugu, the number plates are captured. Each number plate that is captured is already registered. So if at any point that same vehicle number plate that is captured is being changed, and the AI will tell you the same vehicle that the number. So already that vehicle will be put on red alert, and the security agency will start tracking that vehicle until they will apprehend those that are in charge. Let them explain to us why all of a sudden this vehicle came into the city with this particular number plate, but all of a sudden now is having another one. So the AI interprets every security information you need to know to begin to place a particular vehicle or a particular person on red alert. As you arrive from this airport, as you're coming in, or every entrance into Enugu exit, you are fully captured. So don't think that you're in Enugu, all your movements and all your activities, everything is being manned and tracked very well. This is about one of the biggest investments that Dr. Peter Mbah's administration has done, aside that of education. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Because this was what laid the foundation for every of these other investments in all other sectors, including that of my own this ministry. Yes, to start taking shape. So that is one area that is very critical, that I want Enugu people, each time they are going to bed in the night, they need to pray for Dr. Peter Mbah. Why? Because God has used him to restore security in Enugu and has made Enugu people to sit down, and each time they want to go to bed, they can go to bed with both eyes closed. And you want to enjoy nightlife, feel free and enjoy nightlife in Enugu as much as you want. So that's one aspect. And like I was explaining initially, the education. Let me tell you something. His Excellency told me, he said, look, if all we are able to achieve, just aside every other thing that we are doing, if all we're able to achieve is this smart green school education in 4 years, in 8 years, and we are leaving office, we can beat our chest to say that we have left a legacy that the next 4th, 5th generations will always look back and point at a government that laid this foundation. The reasons are quite simple. He told me, he said, look, have you seen all those young chaps that when you are at that Bisala and you are at the security light and you just have to wait, okay? So once you are there at the security light, that little minute waiting, you see some little kids that are knocking and all that. You used to have them, but
yes, true. Yes, I see them.
But you hardly see them.
No, I don't see them.
Yeah, so because he gave mandate, and most of those boys we are now be able to taken off the streets and put in a home where they are being taken. But he told me something. He said, all those children are getting back to school. We have to take them from this somewhere they are to back to school so that they can, because they have a lot to offer. But because the society doesn't seem to be very much friendly to them, they had no choice than to be on the street. So taking them off the street and putting them where they can sit down and learn, just like every other child. You never can tell. Governors could come out of them, presidents could come out of those number of children. So that is one other very key sector that His Excellency had made very, very tremendous mark, because it is not easy for you to, surpass UNESCO rating, global rating, because it's only Enugu that has done up to 33%. No other state can boast of doing that. So what that simply tells you is that you have a governor whose interest of the next generation is very much there too. Because when you want to talk about next generation, you're talking about these young people that we are now grooming now.
So does that mean that you are 100% sure that should the election happen tomorrow, this month, that Governor Peter Mbah will have a landslide victory?
Okay, so you are saying if it happens tomorrow. Okay, so let me bring it closer. Let me fast forward. If it happens like today, like this evening,
Yes.
the man is having landslide victory. Who else is actually running safe, by the way? Listen, election.
Tell me more.
Let me tell you something. To run election and to win elections, they are not just in the mere realm of speculation. It's not on social media. Win election is not a social media business where anybody can just go and create poster and ask some boys with 1,000 naira you can buy data. So you just deploy people and they just start posting things on social media. Social media campaigns and all these things, they don't shake any good politician who understands his direction. Why? Because elections are not won on social media. What happens on social media is just mere grandstanding. That's what happens on social media. If you want to win election, take out time and present your scorecard. These are the things. Listen, there's something I want to truly educate our people, for those who do not know. The level of political awareness in Nigeria today is very, very high. And because of that, it is pretty difficult for you to just come on board and start fooling people. And you expect that the people will fall so cheaply for it. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So anybody can just come on board and tell you, see, I can do this for you. I can do it. Okay, fine, you can do this for us. Yes, fine. What have you done in the past? Because the Bible says he who can be trusted in little can be trusted in much. We have seen what Dr. Peter Mbah has done with the mandate we gave him for the past 3 years. So if we have seen that with our own eyes, these are the ones that we have seen. Because most times people judge the governor and everything based on just mere infrastructure. There are a lot of things we know about that the governor has done and is still doing that are much more than the physical eyes can see. All right?
Yes.
Which are they are not just infrastructure that ordinary eyes can see. That we can use to rate him so high. But yet, if we want to base the argument, if we want to base the our campaigns on just infrastructure alone, who is that would want to come and match shoulder to shoulder with him? Who is that person? Where is the person coming from? Is the person going to come from another planet or come from another country? If the person is going to come from this country, Nigeria, and the person is going to come from Enugu, I beg, I need to see the person. You see, talk is very cheap. You see, talk. Is the cheapest thing anybody can do is to talk, because now you get your mouth. Are you getting the point? So anybody can say anything. So when it comes to doings, according to the boys on the streets, they say doings, that is what tells everything. When it comes to doings, oh God, please leave that one to Dr. Peter Mbah, but the man is the man who understands what doings means. Speaking and keeping to your, he's the very first politician and governor that I have seen who said things he wanted to do, and he hardly sleeps, working very hard to ensure that he keeps to every bit of these promises that he made. Whenever we are together and we have a conversation, what he tells us is, look, did you people actually listen to my manifesto? For those who were not there, for those who didn't start the same time we started with him, he said, please go and take your time to go through my manifesto again. Every bit of the words I dropped in that manifesto, none is vague. I meant every bit of what I shared with Enugu people. The social contract that I have with Enugu people, I meant every bit of it. Please go through it. And when he said he meant every bit of it, he meant it by his actions, not in mere words. So I can now begin to imagine, who is that? Where is the person coming from? To come and say he wants to challenge him, you know, on in a context for that position. I'm still waiting to see who that person is. Every other thing that we have been seeing on social media, let's leave and agree between you and me here, that all that are still in the speculative form, until when someone buys form, or or when someone declares for a political party. You can't wake up and you see a man who doesn't have a political party, and the man is saying, I'm going to be governor. There, independent candidacy is not practiced today, as of today at least, in the Nigerian political system. Okay, so if you must vie for any position, you must be sponsored by a particular party. That must be sponsored by a political party. So if you are not being sponsored by a political party, you are not even a card-carrying member or a well-known member of any particular political party, and somebody you have not even said you are running for an office. There's some people are speaking on your behalf on social media saying you are running for an election, you are going to win.
Engineer, honorable engineer, sir.
Yeah.
There is one man.
Yeah.
One man who has, he came out a few days ago.
Okay.
Said he's going to run for 2027 general election, gubernatorial election against Governor Peter Mbah.
Okay.
That he's going to go for one term.
He has declared already.
Yes, that he's going to go for one term.
He said that.
Yes,
on social media.
He said he called some
press conference,
some group of people, and told them, because in Enugu State, in Kano zone is supposed to complete
for sure
the remaining 4 years.
Yes, that's basic.
So coming from the Enugu East Netra zone, he said that he's going to go for one term, 4 years.
Is the person from Enugu East?
He's from Enugu East.
So the person wants to go for
4 years.
4 years, one term.
One term.
Okay,
Do you think it's possible?
No, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, who is going to believe him now? That's the big question for us. Who wants to believe that kind of tale? Is it the people from Enugu West that it is their turn after Dr. Peter Mbah that will start believing this kind of story? That somebody say he will go for one term. Do you know what politicians are capable of? Politicians are capable of even turning water. You'll be looking at this, telling you that this thing is stone. Have you even seen the one that actually is completing second term, and people are telling him, you see, you can even go for a third term. Do you know you can go for a third term? And somebody that is constitutionally bound to do 8 years is promising some people that he can do 4 years. Who on earth will believe? Nobody will believe that kind of story. It's a story you can take kids that are playing on the sand. You can't tell that to an adult like us and expect someone to believe, especially somebody who understands what the average Nigerian politicians can do. Sometimes even the man might even mean what he's saying, but amid his administration, all the people around will come and say, oh God, please, have you checked what the Constitution says? Yeah. They will now bring his then Attorney General and some other senior SAN. They will come and put it on the table, say, read it through. The Constitution actually permits you to run for 8 years. And there is nothing stopping you from running for 8 years. Okay, go and complete your tenure, please. So that is where the whole game will change. The man will say, well, it's not me. I promised you that I'm going to run for only one term. But you see, our people are the ones that say I should go and run for another term.
Not even
so don't even joke with politicians.
Do you think he has the capacity to lead?
It's not about, to start with, I don't even know who this person is, but like I have said, if anybody has said these things, okay, then for me, I will believe, like I said earlier, is still in the realm of social media.
No.
So, hold on.
I want to help you.
Yeah.
The sacked sleeping minister said this.
No, please, just spare me that side. One thing I don't do when I discuss politics is to be discussing people. I don't discuss people. What I do is I focus on issues. If anybody thinks that he has the capacity and he has what it takes, okay, to compete with Dr. Peter Mbah on this particular position, the person should please come and show us his scorecard. If you have been occupied any position in the past, as of today now, at least I can say, I've been commissioner for innovation, science and technology. I was commissioner for lands and then moved to this. And when I was in lands, these were my scorecards. Now that I am here in innovation, science and tech, these were the laudable achievements that I'm able to bring to bear in my own little ministry.
Yes.
So wherever you have occupied an office in the past, please, even if it is your own personal private business, come and show us how you have been able to prove yourself in your personal private capacity. That will give us an idea of saying, oh, this man, I think he can do well or not. If you have a business that doesn't have an address, you don't have an office, you don't have staffs, you don't pay staff, we can't trace your business trajectory to up to 5-10 years, and that you have kept a record, a consistent record of, paying wages of your workers, and we know what you do for a living and all that. Okay, you need to tell us what you do for a living, because it's not, we can't be fooled. Nobody, especially in Enugu, people are far much more wiser. Forget about the boys you see on social media who are doing this thing. They are just pay some small stipends to be on social media and keep doing those things. That's the only thing that the people are paying them to do at this moment. But even those who are doing those things, they know the truth. They know that, yes, this man, when you want to trace his trajectory, when you want to trace his business records from here, before it gets like in the next few seconds, the story is beginning to already get disjointed. You are diverting from what he tells you he was doing or is doing to something else, and that's something else is only God that knows. Yeah.
So there is a video of an opposition member, a possible governorship candidate, on social media speaking against payment of taxes in Enugu, promising that when he wins, there will be no more tax payment in Enugu. Do you think that will entice the electorate?
Why should they entice the electorate? Let me tell you something about this tax thing. The problem that I think these people who say this is, they still think that our people are still very gullible. No, our people are not all that gullible. The people who are saying these things, once they just once they hop into an aircraft and they have left Nigeria and they just land in any of these civilized nations, what powers most of those countries are nothing but taxes. Once they land, from the bottled water they buy, they start paying taxes. From the biscuit they buy to chew, they start paying taxes. The taxi that takes them from the airport, they pay tax. They pay tax virtually for everything that they do. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Taxation has been a way most countries, civilized countries we see today in the world, are being built. Okay? Because it's not all the countries in the world that are rich in oil and gas. So most of them, they build themselves strongly using taxes. The tax is not what everybody must pay. When I say everybody, there are categories of ways taxes are being done. It's just that when we came on board, once you introduce any good laudable program, the people you get on board, because they already have different mindsets. So what do? They just get on with their old mindset and then start. Why would you go start taxing someone who is carrying vegetable, carrying granite? And they say, Dr. Peter Mbah has never, I can categorically say that to anybody, instructed anybody that works under this administration to go taxing anybody who does that, those kind of things. In fact, petty traders, because as we speak right now, as at last week and last week, we've made very reasonable arrests. So it's a way of telling the world that, look, there was never a time we sent these people. So we come and say, we are local government. It's the local government that is sending us. Which local government? Of course, you know that there's a separation of power.
Yes.
Okay? We have at the federal level, the state level, and local government. But even as at that, there is no way the state government that makes laws, okay, for the entire state will allow a local government, okay, to override its powers by double taxing the people and at the same time taxing the ordinary people on the street who are struggling to feed. I can say that for sure, and you can quote me anywhere. Dr. Peter Mbah has never allowed, has never discussed, has never engaged, at least I'm speaking to you as a member of the cabinet. At least there is nothing that comes out from the government that is not being discussed at the ESCO. He has never, directed or instructed any member of the cabinet, or any member of this government to say go after the ordinary people and start taxing them. No. But as for those who are supposed to pay taxes, everybody has to pay their tax who are within that range. I pay mine as well. I'm sure the governor also pays. And by the way, you should understand that this government thing is not a lifetime business.
Yeah.
It is tenured. Tenured in the sense that once our 8 years is over, we leave. Other set of people will come. And when other set of people will come, are you trying to say they are going to exempt us from the same taxation?
No.
No. So, anybody who is saying, when I call you, no pay tax, the person is just being truthful by half. He's not telling even himself the truth. Everything he's doing is just to look for the cheapest way he thinks he can fool the average Enugu persons and then grab power. And by that time, he will go and roast horsewhip on fire and bring it, and then people will now start, shouting everywhere. Oh, we never knew that this man is this kind of person, and he was painting himself as the angel of light.
Yeah.
Are you getting my point?
Yeah. So, about 2 months ago, or 8 weeks ago, you said, you made a categorically a conspicuous statement that no Nkanu man that has Nkanu blood will buy form to contest against Governor Peter Mbah come 2027. Do you still maintain that?
I maintain that. Do you know why I maintain that? I'll tell you something. When I made that statement, it's a bit figurative. Figurative in the sense that there is no Nkanu person that has our blood. I'm repeating it again.
Yes.
Who would take his time to search his conscience? After searching his conscience, he feels that the best thing he will do is to go and buy form to contest against Dr. Peter Mbah. That person needs to search his conscience all over again. And if he does, he will understand that he is not taking the right steps. Are you getting my point? When I was saying that, doesn't mean that if anybody goes about to go and buy form, I will just go there and then grab the person and say, why did you buy form? No. Yeah. But what I'm saying, and what I said exactly then, I'm repeating, is that for you, before you think of buying the form, you must search yourself as an Nkanu man that has our blood. Am I supposed to go buying this form? Am I supposed to go buy a form to run against the best product that Nkanu people has given to Enugu people? So this is actually one basic salient question you need to ask yourself in-house before, if you're able to get the right answers for yourselves, then maybe you can take the step to go and buy the form. And also, let me also try to make it very clear. It is not in the buying of form. So once you buy form, have you ever seen where politicians buy form? You will see, like, we've run elections where you see for one position, 150 people would buy forms to occupy one position. So, but at the end of the day, how many people will occupy it? Just one person. So buying of the forms and all that doesn't threaten anybody at all. Not people like us.
So we don't.
No, please. There are things that we should be worried about. It's not about who buys forms, and we should not be worried about who is contesting and who is not contesting. By the way, to even have the context in where people come in and say, it makes the process more credible. Okay, it makes it more credible, and like the general saying goes, that the more the merrier. So if a plaintiff want to come in, they should come in. We're here, we're waiting. So it is how many votes that you are going to get at the end of the day that will now tell you whether you are supposed to have even gone in the first place to go and waste that money buying form or not. Do you understand? So
moving from PDP to APC, that is the first time it's happening in Enugu State. The current administration under Governor Mbah moved from PDP to APC, and that was the first time it happened in Enugu State since 1999. Do you think that is a factor that could work against the governor in 2027? Do you think as people are beginning to understand the motive behind his move to APC?
No. I think there is no way anybody who understands politics will think that our movement from PDP to APC would work against us. No, there is no way that will happen. The point is, we didn't move from PDP to APC out of any form of selfish interest. Okay? And we're not doing that because PDP actually, the acronym or whatever changed or things like that. No. We had to move for some obvious reasons that was quite glaring. PDP as a party then was directly under a life support machine, of which, as to speak today, both factions are still in Supreme Court. There are certain things you will see the direction it is going, and if you know that you understand the path, you're doing as a government, the best thing you do is just get all that unnecessary distractions off your back, so they can focus on the real thing that you're doing, which is providing good governance to your people. So there is no way His Excellency wants to have one meeting on how to take up the next project or the other. They say, oh, please, we'll have a next meeting to discuss if the party is going to survive or die. Everybody's coming to Abuja every day. Why should he preoccupy himself with a party that is was already at the verge of collapse at that point? So, and secondly, we are looking very strongly on how he was going to connect the state to the center. That connection is very important for politics, and it is very important for the state, because that connection has opened doors to so many things going on in Enugu right now today. A lot of people who are not politicians, who are not in government, may not understand. Do you know that prior to this time, there were certain things that could be going on at the federal level? Once you come in and you're PDP, government at the state level, you are sidelined. You don't even have a voice. Are you getting the point? But His Excellency saw all, he took time, studied all this, and saw the way all this is going, and decided that, look, the best thing for us to do is let us align with the center, and we can see the dividends of all that coming into the state on a daily basis. So, if anybody thinks it is going to be a disadvantage, so I think the person should be able to have a second thought. Why should it be? We have had situations where some people will threaten you with, you see, you are here, we have the federal might. We have federal might. So, at this moment now, I don't know which might those people are having. Are you getting my point? Because as to speak, I can confidently tell you that we have federal might, we have state might, we have local government might, we have even the world might, and even PG's might. So which might are you? Where are you coming from? That's why when people talk about who will contest and who will win, and I don't even, where do you want to win from? Where are you winning from? Is it not people that will cast the vote? Human beings? Are you going to bring robots to come and cast votes? It's human beings, and there are Enugu people here now. Will you go and tell the ordinary young people in the university who are within the voting age, who Dr. Peter Mbah has used our ministry to provide seamless access to technology and technological innovations, and are grooming them and training them on a daily basis in different fields of life, that they should not vote for Dr. Peter Mbah, they should go and vote for someone who has never done anything to impart in their lives. It's not possible now. You can't fool. That's why I told you that the awareness is very high. And people are opening their ears. Their eyes are popping up wide open. They are watching. They are listening. When it's time to take decision, they will take decision, and it is a ballot that will tell you that all this your grandstanding on social media amounted to maybe at the end of the day you get 5 votes or 4. When others are getting like 300 or 500 or 400 votes, you are getting like 3 votes. Then that will now tell you this is the best that you could achieve from all the grandstanding on social media.
So, on a final note, we have seen the Okonanu clan mega rally, endorsing Governor Peter Mbah. We also saw a few days ago at the Enugu West Senatorial Zone mega rally endorsing the president and the governor. What do you think that amounts? What is the signal? How will you say this all this endorsement is sending signal to maybe unscrupulous people who are thinking about, dividing the state, bringing political tension in the state, and also mirroring it to the people of Enugu North Senatorial Zone? What is your advice when you are giving your final note, your advice to people of Enugu North Senatorial Zone? Because some persons are trying to use one particular zone to work against another particular zone. And the preaching that the governor has kept on saying about, unity, and for the people of Enugu State not to allow anybody to divide us, and a few days ago he also said that there's a serpent, in the garden. The governor said that there's a serpent in the garden, that the people of Enugu State should be wary of a serpent in the garden. So,
okay, so for me, these endorsements are very healthy for politics. They're very, very healthy. What makes it very healthy is it gives people the free access, the freedom to express, their choice, to express what they feel about their leader. So if the Okunano people, have endorsed His Excellency, it shows that freely out from their heart, not just out of any form of compulsion or anything, but down deep from their heart, they believe that this is the man that can take them, into the next 4 years after now, because they have seen what is done, in the past 4 years, and that they believe strongly that, going with him, they don't have to entertain any fear, because they've seen what he's done. Now, the people of Enugu West, because once the Nkani people are done with our 8 years, by every other natural cause, based on our equity of charter, is going to Enugu West. So they are very sensitive. They are very wise people. They understand the game. They know what it means. They know that once we are done with this whole process, it's their turn. So, and they do not want anybody to jeopardize that. They do not want anybody to come fooling anybody from their zone to say, I want to do 4 years, support me. When I do 4 years, I will go. They know the person is lying, and they cannot afford to take such lies from anybody. So, and I'm sure in a short while, you'll be seeing more endorsement. The Enugu North will be making a very bold statement in the next few days as well. And of course, the Enugu East, which is the entire of the Nkanu block, will be making a very laudable, a statement that everybody will know that, truly speaking, yes, this lion building, that some people, after having a very nice tea, and bread, after having a nice tea and bread, with a well-garnished omelette in the morning, they will start dreaming of going into lion building. There is no space there till 2031.
There's no space.
No space for them after Peter has left. Once His Excellency is done with that, if the other zones now want to cede their opportunity to them, well, let's watch and see, which I know can never happen. So, everybody must not be a governor at the same time. Do you think that I don't like to be governor? No. Even you, they say, can you be governor? Take. You will just grab it immediately. But the point is, no. If you see the right person that is doing the right job, there is no point. Why don't you just think of some other thing to do it? And by the way, everybody must not occupy a political position at the same time. These positions are quite few. So if it's not you today, support who has it, so that the person, once it's done, you can also seem to have an opportunity to also get on board.
Yeah, true.
But if you continue to fight everybody who comes thinking that you must be there, it never happens anywhere.
True.
So I will just advise our people. It's not just about the Enugu North. The Enugu North, I'm sure they know. They know that the shortest route for them to take a shot at the governorship seat again is when Enugu West people have completed their 8 years. Once we are done with our 8 years, Enugu West will go. After that, it naturally rotates to Enugu North. There is no shortcut to it. They know that very well. And if they decide to support any other candidate aside Peter Mbah, God forbid, what now happens is that they might be elongating their own term by extra 4 years.
2 years. True.
You see the point? Part of why there have been no much bickerings and fights and killings and destruction in Enugu, is because of this charter of equity that Enugu has been operating on. Once this zone is done, it goes to the rest naturally. Just so the ball keeps passing that way, and everybody is happy with that. Crisis doesn't solve any problem. It never helps any society.
Yeah. Quite interesting conversation with Engineer Prince Lawrence Eze. You're a PhD holder now. I should be putting doctor, right?
You make me laugh.
So today was just more focused because we are gearing towards the 2027 election. With the polity is already hit up in both at the national, the state, and the local level, and I know that we'll continue to have this platform for us to sensitize our people and tell our people where they should the right channel and the right road that they should follow. In Rivers they will always say follow who know road. So I thank you for always coming to talk to our people. And I believe that constant communication is never enough. We'll keep on sensitizing our people. Thank you for coming, and congratulations for having one of the wonderful, the best tech fest again. For the second, I think this is the second year. What you are doing is also visible at the national level, and all thanks to your boss, your principal, Governor Peter Mbah.
Exactly.
So thank you for coming.
You're most welcome.
Very best, always, as always. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dear viewers, thank you for watching today's episode of the Catalyst Podcast. See you next time.